April 3rd, 1974, a date forever etched in the annals of American history. It began like any other spring day, but as the hours passed, a sense of unease settled over the heartland. The air grew heavy, thick with a humid warmth that hinted at something ominous. By day's end, the skies would unleash a meteorological nightmare, forever changing the landscape of 13 states and leaving an indelible mark on the national psyche. This was the Super Outbreak of 1974, a relentless onslaught of tornadoes that stands as a stark reminder of nature's raw and terrifying power. The Super Outbreak of 1974 was one of the most violent weather catastrophes in recorded history. It was a day of unimaginable destruction, a stark demonstration of nature's capacity for both awe-inspiring beauty and terrifying violence. The storm system, fueled by a complex interplay of atmospheric conditions, spawned an unprecedented number of tornadoes, leaving a path of devastation that stretched for hundreds of miles. The sheer scale of the outbreak was unprecedented. Over a period of just 18 hours, a staggering 148 tornadoes ripped through the heart of America. These were not isolated incidents. They were part of a coordinated assault that left entire communities reeling in shock and disbelief. From the rolling hills of Illinois to the forested mountains of Tennessee, the tornadoes cut a swath of destruction, leaving behind a trail of shattered lives and broken dreams. The tornadoes of April 3rd, 1974, did not discriminate. They tore through rural farmlands and bustling towns with equal fury, leaving a trail of destruction that defied comprehension. The storm system, fueled by a volatile mix of warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico and cold, dry air from the northwest, created a breeding ground for powerful thunderstorms. As these storms collided, they unleashed their fury in the form of violent, rotating columns of air tornadoes of unprecedented strength and ferocity. The geographical scope of the outbreak was staggering. 13 states felt the wrath of the tornadoes, from the Canadian border to the deep south. Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Mississippi, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and New York all bore witness to the destructive power of the storm. The tornadoes, some touching down multiple times, carved a path of destruction over 2,600 miles long, leaving behind a landscape scarred by violence. The tornadoes followed one another in rapid succession, often with little warning. In some areas, residents had only minutes to seek shelter before the storm was upon them. The relentless assault overwhelmed emergency services, leaving many to face the storm's fury alone. The day became a terrifying test of human resilience in the face of nature's unbridled power. Imagine a sky turned a sickly green, the air thick with the smell of rain and ozone. Imagine a roar like a freight train growing louder by the second, the ground vibrating beneath your feet. This was the reality for millions of Americans on April 3rd, 1974, as the tornadoes tore across the landscape, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. The storms moved with terrifying speed, some racing across the countryside at speeds exceeding 60 miles per hour. Homes were reduced to rubble in an instant, trees were stripped bare and debarked, cars were tossed about like toys. The air was thick with debris, splintered wood, shards of glass, twisted metal, all hurled through the air with deadly force. For those caught in the path of the storms, it was a day of unimaginable terror. Families huddled in basements, listening to the roar of the wind and the crash of collapsing structures above. Some emerged from their shelters to find their homes gone, their neighborhoods unrecognizable. The day was a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the awesome power of the natural world.
The stories of those who lived through the super outbreak are harrowing tales of survival and loss. One survivor, recounting his experience, described the tornado as a black wall of fury, a living thing, hungry for destruction. He spoke of the deafening roar, the feeling of helplessness as the storm ripped his home apart around him. He emerged from the wreckage, miraculously alive, but forever changed by the experience.
A young mother, clutching her baby in a basement shelter, recalled the terror she felt as the storm raged above. The air pressure changed so drastically that her ears popped, and she feared the concrete walls of their shelter wouldn't hold. When the storm finally passed, they emerged to find their neighborhood in ruins. But they were alive, a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit.
These personal accounts, filled with raw emotion and vivid detail, provide a poignant glimpse into the human cost of the super outbreak. They are stories of fear and survival, of loss and resilience, and they serve as a stark reminder of the importance of preparedness and the enduring power of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity.
The tornadoes that swept across the United States on April 3, 1974, were not merely destructive, they were off the charts in their intensity. Many registered as F4 or F5 on the Fujita scale, a system for rating tornado strength based on wind speed and damage potential. An F5 tornado, the highest rating on the scale, is a monstrous force of nature capable of incredible destruction. Winds in an F5 tornado can reach speeds exceeding 300 miles per hour, powerful enough to rip well-constructed homes from their foundations, hurl cars through the air like missiles, and scour the ground bare. Such storms are mercifully rare, but the 1974 super outbreak spawned at least 7 F5 tornadoes, making it one of the deadliest and most destructive tornado outbreaks in history. These tornadoes carved paths of destruction that stretched for miles, leaving behind a trail of shattered lives and broken communities. The landscape was forever altered, the scars of that day etched into the very earth. The 1974 super outbreak served as a stark reminder of the awe-inspiring and at times terrifying power of nature.